Hi everyone, it's Marianne. Welcome to my Bookbinding 101 series, and in this video I'm going to share with you how to create your text block part 2. And if you haven't seen part 1 yet, go check it out and come back here. So now that we have sewn our signatures together and we had it pressed at least overnight, it's time to glue the text block together. So that's what I'm going to share with you in this video, is how to glue your text block together, add ribbons, headbands, and end papers. It's time for me to glue my text block, and one misstep that I already made is I learned that if you have a big text block like this, it is advisable, I mean it's not like mandatory, but it is advisable to have like ribbons underneath the French stitch, which I tried inserting it now after the fact, but it's just really hard. The stitches are quite tight. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do the first layer of gluing, and once that dries, or maybe before it even dries, I would put this on top and then just put more glue in on top when I do like my second and third layer of glue, and hopefully that would suffice. But for next time when I bind the auction, which is the same size as this one, I would be putting in the ribbon as I stitch. So to glue my text block, I am using this bookbinding glue, and I know most bookbinders use a PVA glue, but I got sent this as a sample, so I tried it already in my practice text block and it was pretty good. It has some pros and cons, but generally when it comes to adhering the text block, at least in my smaller practice text block, it worked pretty well, so I'm hoping it does the same for my larger text block. But eventually, since the next binds that I expect to make are all gonna be this size, this is a little bit pricey and honestly kind of a bit hard to work with. Well, actually not that hard to work with, but I think next time I'm gonna be purchasing a PVA glue because I think that would be easier to work with than this one. And the brush I'm using is just an old makeup brush. I used it in my practice signature. It was okay. This came with this one, and a con about this one is this smells really bad. It actually recommends in the packaging to wear a mask when using it. So when I was gluing my practice text block, I was wearing a K95 mask. I'm gonna do the same for this one. So I'm just doing it by section because this dries pretty fast, and then I'm just going to make sure it all gets in. And with this one, I'm supposed to brush out. Don't do it like that because it would glue the pages more than it needs to. And it's better to start with thin layers and then just add more later on. So I'm doing a second layer on the French stitches. I'm gonna be adding the ribbon and then doing the rest of the glue layers. And I have a 7.5 inch ribbon, and because this one is 2.5 inches and I just have like a 2.5 overhang on each side. I did mark it so I know where to lie it down so it'd be equal on both sides. I'm just like so I'm going to do the rest of the ribbons and I'll be right back. So I finished adding the ribbons and doing my second layer of gluing. At this point, I think I'm going to let it dry overnight. I'm going to check back to you tomorrow once it has finished drying overnight. Okay, so I've let the glue dry overnight. I took it out of the book press because I don't want it to be like too compressed and the spine is kind of like bowing. So what I'm doing right now is I'm going to be adding my end papers, the headband, and the spine backing. Okay, so first I'm going to do the end paper. I'm just going to show you one, but it's the same thing that I'm going to do at the back. So this is my end paper, and I did give like a 2mm overhang for the hinge. I would share the measurements on the screen. And I also marked my end page where the top and bottom is, which side goes to what side, so I don't get confused. I place a cardstock underneath the first page so that glue won't seep into the cover page. And I'm adding glue no more than 5mm from the edge of the spine. And then I'm just gonna line this line that I marked on the edge of the page. All right, let me stand up. Okay. So, yep, let me make sure I got it right. Yep, so that is my first end page. And then I'm going to glue the ribbons down. So I finished gluing the ribbons on this side. I'm going to do it on the other side. I can definitely wait it until I do my casing to do it, but this way it's just a lot easier for me when I get to that part. Top, bottom, left, top, bottom, right, glue here. And I'm gonna do the 2mm hinge. I'm gonna measure that. All right, so gonna do the rest of the end paper. Glue ribbon here, but I am going to glue end page here. Right, before I press it hard, I'm gonna check one more time. Okay. Alright, and then I'm gonna glue the ribbon. I'll be right back. So here are the end pages glued. It needs a little bit more drying, but it turned out okay. I feel like I glued a little bit too much, but this is why you always have extra pages before the cover page. So that's not really much of an issue for me. And with this one, ooh, I really like this one. And yeah, kind of like the same here. I kind of did over glue, but that's okay. Like I said, this is why we have extra pages at the front and the end, so that it doesn't affect the actual pages. So this is my spine stiffener. Basically, it's just extra cardboard, the same one that I use for my end pages. And then I'm gonna glue it right here. And then for the ribbons, I got them on Amazon. I have like a whole set of them. So I kind of like cut this to size and actually give it a little bit more, because in the test one that I did, it was a little bit too short. Okay, so I have added this spine stiffener, and I just like made sure it's really in there. That's why there's a lot of markings. I just want to make sure it's like really attached to the spine. And then I'm gonna do the headbands next. Okay, so that's what we accomplished today, is to add the end papers, the spine stiffener, the headbands. But for now, I'm just gonna let it dry. Do that like that overnight. And I'm just gonna put like something here so that this doesn't keep opening. But yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. Now that you have finished creating your text block, it's time to create the bookcase. So make sure you check out my next video.